Rayshawn Joseph,
All right,
let's
so
get
let's
it.
get it. You watching Strictly Basketball Podcast episode 9 with Nigel Brock.
What's going on?
Let's get into it.
What's up, people?
Appreciate you for coming through.
I appreciate you having me. I appreciate
All right.
For sure. Most turn. You know what time it is. Strictly Basketball. Let's get to it, Ray.
All right, so how did you get started with playing organized basketball?
When did I get started? I started.
Tell us.
I kind of got started at a young age. Being the smallest person on the court, you got to work twice as hard.
You got to be an underdog, for sure.
You always got to be the underdog.
You got to have that underdog in you.
So
That fire.
I spent my summers and my winters just working, because everybody mostly already had a spot on the team in my high school. So it was like, all right, well, if they got a spot, you gotta come with it. You gotta be able to earn yours. So, I worked out over the summers, and, from 7th to 11th grade. I didn't make it. There's a story behind my brand. We're gonna get into that later.
Like falls, why you ain't making falls?
I played modified 7th, 8th grade. I didn't make my high school year. It's crazy because I was a walk-on in college literally after that. So people were like, yo, this kid definitely has game. But, living in certain areas and it's very secluded, they already got their team married and everything.
So that means you had to persevere through a lot.
Woo, that's a good word, right?
So I mean, you had to persevere through
Speak on that, Nigel. Speak on perseverance in them years,
speak,
man.
Speak on your perseverance, not really making it really in middle school. In high school, not really making it in high school, but able to walk on at the collegiate level.
Before we even go to collegiate, let's stick to that middle school and that high school, man. Persevere in them, because that's a lot of young kids, stop believing in themselves during them ages, man. That middle school, high school. Speak on that, man.
So my thing was basically just understanding that nothing is ever promised, and you got to work for everything in this life. And I'm the type of person.
You got to sacrifice for sure.
I really don't want nothing handed to me.
Yeah,
So
come on, talk
tell
about
me,
that.
I'm like Simba. If you tell me the sky is blue, I gotta go out there and find it myself, because ain't nobody gonna tell me nothing that I didn't see physically with my own eyes. So the perseverance is basically going through the ups and downs. I had to, figure out my way. I was small. I couldn't get certain things I wasn't getting selected for, or whatever. But it didn't discourage me, because I always knew I had this extra second power in me. And it's like, yo, bro, you got the ability to do this. You just gotta figure out what direction you want to go and which lane of people that you need to speak to. So I started, like I said, I started building this brand called NDB Athletics. So
Let's speak about that. What made you come up with the brand?
So how old were you when you came up with the brand?
For those of you that don't know, I was 16 when I started this brand. Wow. And over the years, I had a lot of ups and downs. I had a lot of great.
So who impacted you starting your own brand and everything?
Oh, it was this young kid named Jake Izzo.
Listen to the youth.
Yo, Jake Izzo. Shout out to my guy. For anybody that doesn't know Jake Izzo, he's the one that inspired me to build this brand. And we speak on a daily basis, whether it be about sneakers, clothes, life.
He younger than you?
Yeah, he's younger than me.
Wow.
He just turned 21 not too long ago. He's actually a coach now at where he's teaching at. So that makes it a little bit interesting. And, people reach out to me like, yo, I see what you've done with the. I said, it's not about me. It's not about. It's God's gift. This is my ability to be able to go out there and help out the younger youth, and then also to keep me afloat. Because I'm older. The older I get, is the more I got to stay in tune with the younger ones. So I see where they going. I see the sneakers, the clothes, the language. I don't dive too much into it, but I keep it enough to keep me afloat. And then also too, working in education. You got to be up on point with these kids. These city kids is whew. You gotta
influence the next generation, like I always speak about. They the next generation of stars. You gotta put them in the right position to win in life.
And
that's a great point, man. You brought up education, man, and I'm so excited you did, because me as the most turned, y'all know I'm all about them grades. I'm all about that education, about them books. Now, talk about how much education of the education of basketball means to you, and teaching others the education of basketball, and teaching yourself the education of basketball, and how much that has meant to you in your life.
Well, from what it has meant to me is a lot of different experiences. From I tore it. For most of you that don't know why I go so hard, I tore a ligament in my calf. It was a grade 2 tear, which means that I could have potentially needed surgery at some point in my career. But through the grace of God, God said, you know what?
At what age you told
I was 22, 23. This is right before I left Dutchess.
Yeah, early 20s.
Yeah,
Dutchess, what's Dutchess? What's Dutchess?
Dutchess Community College.
That's
who I
upstate
played
New York.
for.
That's
So you
New
played
York.
for
Yeah,
Dutch.
yeah.
What city is that?
That's in Poughkeepsie.
That's upstate New York.
Shout out
Upstate
Dutchess
New York.
Community
Upstate
College,
New York.
man. Shout out to all the
Upstate,
JUCO stars, man. Shout out, man. This is real stories.
Yeah, my
man.
cousin played at Dutch for 2 years.
So that was an eye opener for me, and then also too, just knowing that, you know, at the end of the day, yo, if this happens, what's next? What are you gonna build next? Because my whole thought process is, yeah, I'm gonna go to the league, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, but not knowing that the man above. I'm sorry, I speak about the man above because he's.
You got to.
puts
You
me-
got to. That's the
puts me
creator.
in this light of life. So.
That's the creator. Amen.
You know, once he took that, I felt like at that point he took that from me because he felt like I was abusing it at some point, and I'm pretty sure in some time in my life I wasn't doing what I was supposed to.
Listen up.
And I said, you know what? Maybe he's trying to teach me something or test me. So I said, you know what? I think I'm gonna start going a little extra harder with this brand and you know, developing with the kids. And then, so I took a leap of faith. I had an opportunity to work for the Department of Education 7 years ago. I lived at that time. I lived upstate, so it was like do or die at that point. It's like any opportunity that presents itself, you gotta figure out.
You gotta take full advantage
You
of
gotta
it.
take full advantage. So when they
Sure.
offered it to me, I said, you know what, Mom, Dad, they like, what are you gonna do? I
So,
said,
how was your high school experience? Where you went to high school at?
I went to Newburgh Free Academy. It was one of the, I want to say it was a cool experience, but like I said, I wasn't one of the popular kids, and not that I ever looked for that because that really wasn't my thing, but I wasn't really looked at as like, oh, this is the kid that's gonna be the person that's, you know, with the youth or whatever the case may be. I never even looked at it like that. I looked at it as like, God's given me a blessing, so I'm gonna use this every day. And you know, even today, when people, the other day, somebody stopped me, you NDB athletic? I said, what?
Yes, sir.
I said, whoa.
Brand recognition.
I said, wow,
Brand
that's
recognition.
crazy.
You never, like I say, we never know who's.
You don't know who's
you never
watching.
know who's watching. Like, you feel me?
So, you know,
Big brother, did you say now? I know you say you ain't make it 1 year. How many years did you play for Newburgh Free?
You ain't play high
I didn't
school?
play at
At
all.
all.
You ain't play
That's
all
a-
4
come on.
That's where.
And
That's,
still got the college
and
ball.
still played college ball. So I want.
That's
the
a
younger,
bar.
That's huge perseverance. Not even to play high school ball at all, but able to
Yeah.
play college. I mean, you really had to work on your game. Like,
Woo!
I mean, you had to be in the gym
Never
24
give up.
That mean you had to wake up early in the morning, go to the gym, work on your game.
Yeah.
Work on your
Talk
body.
about,
I mean, you
talk
had
about
to grind.
that, bro.
Yeah,
Talk about that
it
summer,
was,
bro.
that summer
Give
was
me that
crazy.
summer at the high school, bro.
Yo, the summer after high school, I basically said, you know what? It was no partying. It was nothing. It was graduation. We going straight to the track every morning. It was 8 a.m. I'm in the track. I'm on the track running, and some kid stops me and he's like, "Yo, bro, I see you out here every single day. What you grinding for?" I said, "I'm trying to be at that time, I didn't really know what I was working for. I just knew that somebody discouraged me in something. I said, you know what? We got to get to the lab because they not about to take what I got.
So who motivated you with just playing like
Basketball-wise?
being able to play college basketball? Who motivated you?
Yeah.
as
Who
far
was
as
your main
basketball?
motivation?
Who was your motivation
Back
as far as
then,
basketball?
at that moment.
My main motivation was Allen Iverson. Every short person.
Come on.
Every short person.
Hey, the
was
real
Allen
AI.
Iverson, the
Hey,
real
kid,
AI.
don't let them confuse you. This is the real AI.
Shout out to the answer.
The answer,
AI.
man. I remember when I asked my parents for it was the Allen Iverson do-rag with the jersey. I used to go out there
Yes,
with
sir.
the do-rag with the jersey
sir.
and run the miles like I was him.
You had the sleeve? You had the sleeve?
AI's
I
that
had the
guy.
sleeves, too.
That's the guy right
I
there.
had the sleeves and the
That's the
sneakers.
guy.
The sneakers, I definitely had the sneakers with it too. So, like I said, AI was definitely a big inspiration on my basketball.
So that's
career.
somebody that impacted you as far as basketball.
Yeah. A few others, even like I said, the younger generations is what really inspired me.
You was
to
ever
keep
impacted
going
by
every day.
Kobe Bryant? Because you know he impacted a lot of people in basketball.
He impacted AI.
Kobe was definitely one of the people on the list, but as me like having that speed and that agility to kill on the court, it was always Allen Iverson. Cause
Sure.
It was like him getting on the court. People was
Because
telling
people say he's 6 feet.
I think he's under 6 feet.
He's literally like 5'10", 5'11". He's
Probably
not
about
6 feet.
5'10",
He's about
probably
5'10".
5'9", maybe
My
about
height 5'10", 5'11". My height 5'10", 5'11". He's not 6 feet. But the way he changed basketball, he was short. He was able to attack. And even that, Allen Iverson's first passion was football. But before basketball, he played football in high school, basketball. So that was his first passion before basketball was football.
Yep.
So
He
that was
alive.
AI's first passion anyway.
Hey, you know, we know you can't just make it unless you Leandro Barbosa, but he ain't go that far. You can't just make it with athletics and speed and all of that. You had to have a certain mindset. And I did a little bit of my homework. I know you also, when you teaching the youngsters fundamentals and you teaching them good values, you also teaching them about meditation and having the right mindset. Speak about how you had to have a certain mindset, and the positive mindset. Maybe was that influenced by where you grew up, or what was that influenced by? How'd you keep that?
It was definitely by the place I grew up in, and also the people around me too, because I always had good energy around me. So it was always people like, yo, listen, you got this, boom, boom, boom. This is what you need to do to add to your repertoire to be able to put you as a whole. So one of the things, you know, when I go out on the court, I always look at it as like, yo, if this is God's given gift, you got to use it to the best of your ability, because you got kids that's coming out here, they asking for you or whatever the case may be. And I always I always expressed to
they asking for that advice.
Yeah, exactly. And then one of the things too that, you know, most of us don't understand, that mental is one of the biggest parts of basketball.
I want to also speak about that. I always speak about this, like, you can use basketball as a tool to get you out of depression.
Right.
You can use basketball as therapy. I speak about this all the time because it's life lessons besides basketball. People go through things at home. People go through things in their everyday life. So how was basketball for you, like, in real life? Like,
in real life, basketball is
like,
honestly fun. Because you know why? Because I'm still in
Enjoy.
connect. I still enjoy it. I'm still
And that's
with the
healthy.
youth. I still get out there.
Come on, that's healthy.
I still get out there with my clients. I play with them. They like, yo, coach, you 32 years old. You still clapping backboards, crossing over. I said, bro, because you know why? Because I make sure I maintain this. This has to stay healthy for me to be able to come out and service you guys.
that brain.
Because I could be nice as hell, but then don't got the mental stability to be able to sustain it. Is no point.
Making questionable decisions,
Right, and that's
compromising people's kids.
And how was it for you going to ASA? I know you took a business administration, sports and exercise, right?
Yeah, business administration, sports and management. It took me about, I'm not even gonna lie, it took me 3.5 years, because at that time I had just left. I'd left Dutchess before that.
Before ASA, yeah.
I wasn't sure about where my career path was going. I just knew I wanted to work in athletics. I wanted to do that. So I had a guy come to me at one point. I'm on 42nd Street. I walk around with no headphones on.
Randomly?
You gotta hear stuff.
You gotta be able to hear stuff. So I
love music, damn, but you gotta hear stuff.
All I heard him say was, young man, you need to go back to school. But he didn't even know me from a hole in the wall. So I already sensed in my mind that he knew something that I didn't know. So I stopped.
Yeah, because education is power, ladies and gentlemen. And you need an education in life. That's very powerful.
Take them proverbial headphones off y'all ears so y'all can listen.
And then also too, what also opened me up was basically knowing that I said, all right, if you want to create this business, how are you gonna be? You have nothing, no credibility behind your name.
Like you say, you started it from scratch.
I had to start from scratch. So it was like, okay, you need this, you need these certifications, you need this, you need that. So during that whole, people that, like I said, people don't see the background work of what you do. They just see you on a podcast. They don't see that your man he had to rush here to get here because he probably was doing something other than what he was doing, other than a podcast. So I tell people I lose sleep daily, day in and day out. Ray hit me up and I told him, I said, bro, I just got upstairs.
I say, you had anybody inspired you based on like starting your own business, brand? Anybody like that influenced you starting your own brand?
Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, and this is not even to toot my own horn. Nobody really. I just knew I had this ability to create something that was for kids, and I always had this gift. Everybody was like, yo, bro, how you work with kids but don't have kids? I said, bro, I just knew I had this gift, and I couldn't figure out what it was.
Amen. I know.
And I went out in the world. I said,
praise the Lord. For real.
Honestly, I didn't really have too many people inspire me on this brand, because I felt like, and also too, like you said, you got people that, you know, you feel you put into situations and they got the best, you know, the best interest or whatever the case may be. I had experiences with that, and I felt that those experiences wasn't gonna help the brand. So I said, you know what, you a do-it-yourself person, but you do sense good energy when it comes. Sean, I sense him from a mile away. But I also said, all right, if you're gonna do this, you gotta do it right.
Do it right.
Especially because now it's a household name. You got parents reaching out. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, well, now you got to protect your name and your brand. And
shout out to our white folks. Yeah, shout out to y'all. It's all love.
And appreciate y'all for real. And they would pay. They would pay to, like, they say if you helping a kid, you really train a kid. They would give you the money.
And I ain't gonna lie, that pay is good.
And they paying you. They would pay you.
Teamwork make the dream work.
I said if they feel like you taking a kid to the next level, they would pay you. They would definitely.
And he is. This NDB athletics.
Come on, now. through the grace of God, and if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here today. So I appreciate you guys for having me.
Through, for sure,
Hey,
definitely.
Speaking, I gotta speak on. We spoke on what you putting in your head. Now I know also you pay attention and put great care into what you putting in your stomach.
Yes.
So talk about real quick before we break out of here. I need you to tell the youngsters, man, tell the world about that diet that's keeping that engine going, bro.
Yo, guys, I'm gonna tell you, young athletes, I watch you guys, and I'm not to judge because I understand we living in New York City and it's not a lot of stuff going on or whatever the case may be. Yeah. But one of the things I always express to all my athletes, your body is like a car. So what you put in it is what it's going is how it's gonna perform. So if you put BS gas in it, you're gonna get a BS performance. Meaning that if you go drink a 50-cent soda and you got 3 games ahead, don't think that you're gonna be playing like Jordan or Kobe, because there's all that sugar. So one of the things I always express is just make sure we all don't have the entitlement to the healthiest foods or whatever the case may be, but just use your better judgment. So when you put something in your system and your body reacts in a certain way that is not normal, that's when you got to go back and be like, okay.
You got to also drink a lot of water, too.
Yeah, to balance that out.
It's very healthy. Nutrition drinks is very healthy for you. You eat a lot
Less
of fruits.
sugar.
You eat a lot of fruits, vegetables. That's very healthy for you.
Less salt. Take out the sugar and the salt. And if you guys need any recommendations as far as nutrition, I write meal plans. I also do curriculums, too, as well. So definitely reach out to me. I'm not just a coach.
So what's next for you far as, what you got going on now, far as your brand, basketball? So what's next for you, in the next few years from now, 3, 4, 5 years from now?
3, 4, 5 years and now I'm just praying for longevity. And then grace of God just continues to keep blessing me with this. And then also too, this is in love and memory of my dad, because I also feel without his
condolences. Yeah.
Without him, I probably wouldn't even be doing this, because they always say you are a character of your own children. So I do believe that he said, you know what, I'm gonna leave this for you, young man, but I need you to do it right. So
did any family play sports? Your mom,
yeah,
your dad,
shout out to my older brother Brandon Brock. He played NFA. He was they won Section 9 titles. He played all 3 years, D1 player and all.
As far as basketball?
Yeah, he played basketball. Check him out too.
What school he played at?
He played at St. Peter's and in Dominican College. He also has a young daughter that plays. She's nice too. Y'all better look out for her.
Okay.
Make sure you let them know about the podcast. Maybe you could
shout out to the podcast. Make sure y'all shout out Strictly Basketball, NDB Athletics. I definitely appreciate you guys for having me. It was a pleasure. We must do it again.
We got to get that picture after too,
definitely,
for sure.
Man.
Where your Instagram at? They can find you where?
Also follow me on Instagram, NDB Athletics. Also, you can follow my personal so you can see when I'm not outside training kids and what I do. It's Nigel Brock _D_ Brock. It's my first and last name, so you really can't miss it.
I want to ask you another question before we leave. Where you see NYC basketball going in the future? As far as now, feel like it's evolving, definitely.
I feel like, honestly, in all honesty, I think it's evolving, because these kids are very they don't even know how advanced they are. I got 7-year-olds.
Because access to a lot of technology, social media now. Social media is a new era right now.
Right,
so.
And that's another big thing. Social media plays a big part for these younger generations. But then also too, we gotta guide them in the right way. It's like, all right, you see the Kobe's, the Jordans, the Kyries, the LeBrons. You want to you got to see it as like, all right, well, if they're working, I got to go out there and work. You know what I'm saying? You got all these basketball courts in New York City. I don't see multiple filled up with kids just out here wanting to work. They want to get on the team and just play, which I understand. Nothing wrong with that. But you also got to look at the player development side too. A lot of kids feel like they ready. They don't really be as ready as they think they are. No.
The player development is very important as well.
Yeah, that's one of the most important keys, and I think that's what I wind up kind of stepping back from the coaching side, because I always knew I had this expertise in something, and I said, I think I'm going to be a player development too, because at the end of the day, I always started with the basic fundamentals. It was never let me just try to cross somebody when I get on the court, because you could keep doing that, but at the end of the day, if it's not done correctly, it's shown. There's no showing.
Like I said earlier, like we spoke about this, there's a lot of politics in basketball.
Yeah, it's also a lot of politics.
We play balls, politics. Coaches going they going on the best players, the bigger names and all that. Yes. There's a lot of politics in basketball, so you gotta really stand out. And
like we said, we want to for the younger youth. I'm just gonna say this. I want you guys to use basketball and sports as a tool, a way out, because we're living in times where sports is cool and all, but everybody doesn't make it pro. You're gonna go professional in something other than sports. It could be a sports analyst. You could have a own podcast like these two gentlemen.
Yep.
You could be a PT assistant like me. You be a teacher, but you're still gonna be in the world of sports. You may not physically play it, but you're gonna be in the world, and that's how I look at life every day. I'm 32,
Like I
but
said, it's 400 jobs, 60 picks every year. You gotta really making it to the NBA is like winning a lottery ticket. You gotta really stand out. You gotta be gifted. You gotta have potential. You gotta be seen by the right people, and you gotta work. So you gotta.
Straight up.
And
Strictly
that's
basketball, baby.
strictly
Most
basketball.
Turn. Let's get it.
All right, so we about to leave us. Thanks for watching Strictly Basketball Podcast episode 9 with my man Nigel Brock. Appreciate you. So tell them where to follow you at.
Oh, y'all can follow me on NDB Athletics. And you can also follow me on Nigel D. Brock. I also got a couple strength and conditioning workouts coming out in Harlem in the month of June. So make sure y'all look out for the registration forms for that.
He got that merch.
Yeah, the merch is definitely on the way. We in the process. We're in the rebuilding process. So it's destroy and rebuild, as my man Nas would say. But definitely look out. We got a few good things on the way. You know, I don't really tell too much. I don't let the cat out the bag. But just know, I'm consistently always working, and through the grace of God is why I'm still here. Keep pushing every day. And thank these gentlemen for having me once again. I appreciate
And
you.
you know
guys.
where to follow me at. Follow me on all social media platforms. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Strictly Basketball Podcast. Follow me on all social media platforms. Rayshawn Joseph. You know the vibes.
Straight up, man. Most turn nerd on Instagram. I don't even like Instagram, but that's what it is. Most turn, man. Strictly basketball. Let's get it.
You gotta get one of
All
us.
right.
Yo, you want to snap this while we sit here?
No, we
Nigel
good.
Brock.
Stand
Let's
up,
get
take a
it.
picture.